All right, Coach, welcome to Chalk Talk with Exo Clinics and the RPO Lab. And, we're going to get into a discussion today that, really started with some really good dialogue with a coach that we were talking about RPOs, we were talking about game planning, and we were talking about just a number of different situations. And really, that's really what the offseason is. As you look back at, what you've done offensively, even defensively and in the special teams, we're always trying to get better. And I think that's what this community has really got to become about, and just continue to commit to developing as coaches. And really, so, really a basic, conversation, I think, has led to something that's going to be really good here for the next month or so as we continue to put some videos together, and it forces us all to work together and collaborate and really think and analyze and evaluate what we want to do offensively, and specifically in our game planning thoughts. So, really this video was going to be about one simple pass concept that we felt that you guys should install this summer, and we'll get to that concept. But we've had some great dialogue with some coaches, and we put an email out there, I think it was last night, and the feedback has been excellent. It's really opened something it's really opened up something for us that we're going to really want to look at and really, interact with you guys and bring something to you guys, and it's really going to benefit everybody involved, because, as long as I've been coaching 20 plus years, it's really all about just continuing to develop as a coach and figure out how I can make my offensive system the best it can possibly be within the scheme that we run and the players that we have in our program. So again, really appreciate it. I think we've stumbled upon something here that's going to be awesome. And we'll get to that video here with that concept that I think you guys should install this summer. But we're going to talk about more specifically about that email now, and then we're going to talk about game planning in general, and then we'll get to that video. So again, appreciate you guys. Can't say enough about this Chalk Talk with Exo Clinics community that's really working together and coming together here. And, we want to be a premier resource for you guys. So, continue to reach out, give us feedback, and we'll continue to try to bring you guys some great content. All right, so we threw out the email, based on a conversation I was having with a coach about, the challenge of game planning and some different thoughts that have to go into your, your daily and your weekly routine as your game planning and the different schemes that you might see. But so we put this email out there and tremendous amount of feedback. So again, we appreciate you guys. So what's the most challenging piece of offensive football? So obviously that's a very broad question, but we put it out there, and we've got a lot of feedback back. And I'm not sure if we've been able to touch on every email, but there was a lot of consistency with the emails, but there was a broadness to it that really opened my eyes to, hey, we're going to spend the next 30 to 45 days bringing you guys videos and just trying to answer these things, because as much as we're trying to provide to this community, there's no doubt, as I dive into, as we're watching film or studying different people and analyzing what we've done offensively, we learn a lot with this Exo Clinics community just for ourselves and trying to enhance and make our offense better. So, what's that most challenging piece, with offensive football? And again, we're going to go through some of the answers here. And, I think consistently a lot of guys talked about the red zone. There's no doubt about it. And we'll talk more specifically on another video for sure about the red zone. Goal line offense, when you get down there, on your 1 yard line, 2 yard line, 3 yard line, what are you going to call? Is it going to be your best run play, or is it going to be a play action, or how are you going to get that thing done? So, I think that's a whole topic in itself that we'll get to. Third down was very big, from third down and short to obviously third down and 7+, third down and 10+, that third down and long. And really that's the stem of this conversation. This is how this whole thing started. Was we were talking, to a coach about, game planning and just how do we game plan and what we thought was the most challenging piece of offensive football. And there's no doubt for me, it's third down and 7+. So, we're going to break a new quarterback in this summer for our program, and after having a guy that's been a 3-year starter and he's 24-6, who's been very good and knows our offense just like every coach on our staff. As we analyze and evaluate what we're going to do in installing this offense with our quarterback, and third down really comes to mind, because you've got to be good. If you're going to be good on offense, you're going to be good on third down. If you're going to be good as a program, you're going to be good on third down on both sides of the ball. But certainly that was a popular answer that came through last night with the emails. Short yardage, specifically short yardage from a spread offense. So I'm assuming, whether you're 4 wides or just, 11 personnel, I think that's definitely a topic in itself. Second down and 10 was another thing that a guy had talked about, and we can get into that conversation, and I can share with you guys, how we game plan second down. And, obviously your whole playbook should be open on that down and distance, but I think that's where you can put some of those pieces of the puzzle together offensively on that second down situations. Third down was obviously a very popular one. I don't know why that popped up again. RPO, give or pull off of a blitzer. Obviously, RPO is a big topic. We talk about it a lot in the RPO lab. And then, this specific question was, just about edge blitzers and when to give it. And, we can get into that. I'm sure some of our RPOs have talked about that, so we could for sure get into that. Inside the 10 passing game, I think this thing came through a couple times from some coaches, and there's no doubt as a coach, if you're going to talk to me and interview me about our offense and the red zone game planning, and then specifically how you're going to throw the football because the field shrinks down there in the red zone. So we'll get into that. I've got a very specific way of game planning inside, really the 10 to the 5, then the 5 to the goal line. And that's a video in itself, and I can't wait to put that together for you guys. Backed up, obviously you got to be ready to be backed up, whether it's that punt that, that puts you back there, or maybe your defense came up really big in the red zone against your opponent, and you got to find a way to be backed up. That's something that we practice every week, so we can talk specifically on how we do that. This was a good one here. Situations where the defense knows what you have to do, so probably third down and 7+, or if you're backed up, or maybe a 2-minute situation. That was also one that came through, those 2-minute and last play situations. So I think that's a good one that we'll get to. Beating man coverage, obviously I think that's a challenge for all of us as offensive coaches in terms of, what are going to be our best man beaters? What's our personnel? How are we going to do it? What's the situation? Are we in the red zone? Is it third down? Or is it just a team that wants to play man coverage every single down? So I think there's some challenges with that. And then another coach has brought in simple communication system, for your offense with one-word calls and some different things. So I'm not sure if we got to every single email. I think there was a lot of consistency with it. And again, if there's more, we'll get to them. I promise you that. But I think this is really, started as a conversation about game planning, and, specifically it was about this simple pass concept that I think that guys should put in, and we'll share that here at the end of the video. But really specifically third down, and how are you going to become good on third down, and what's your plan this summer on developing your third down passing game, and we'll have some videos that'll come out with that. But really that's how this started, and I'm glad that we put the email out there and got the feedback from you guys, and really appreciate the community. But now we'll talk more about offensive game planning real quickly, and then we'll get to that video, and then there's going to be plenty of videos coming your way, guys. Okay, coaches, so again, as we continue to talk about offensive game planning, and obviously this video was meant to be a simple pass concept to install this summer, and now this whole thing has opened up into some awesome conversation and dialogue, and I think it's going to really take off from here with a lot of different videos coming your way. But, when you think about offensive game planning, and you think about, all right, you play on Friday night, what do we do on Saturday? What am I doing as a coaching staff on Sunday to plan Monday's practice, Tuesday's practice, Wednesday's practice, Thursday's final walkthrough, and then that Friday night kickoff? So, I think, I put together this pie chart of a lot of the different key situations. I made it an even pie chart. Obviously, all of these are not going to be even, because you're going to have to spend a lot of time, and you got to really break down what you're going to get called in a game. But, there are some key things on here. Obviously, your base and normal downs, red zone and in the goal line, backed up, your second down situations, 2-minute last plays, short yardage, and then that ever critical third down, 3 to 6, third down and 7+, and then fourth down must. So, that's just a pie chart, just kind of showing you, how you got to break down your offense. There's probably a couple more pieces that can be added in there, or maybe a couple of these pieces can be blended together. Certainly not an even distribution of how you're going to practice for all this stuff, but just, it shows you an illustration of all those things that you've got to get done as a coaching staff, and how are you going to be the best offense that you can be. And again, this all goes back to, a conversation I was having with a coach about, passing game, third down, us breaking in a new quarterback this summer, and then specifically third down and 7+. And we'll talk about that simple concept right here and give you guys something, and then be on the lookout for more videos. So again, we appreciate you guys. Be sure to check out the RPO Lab. Be sure to check out the site, and then we'll go on to the simple pass concept that you guys should install this summer. All right, guys. Hopefully, you guys have watched the previous part of this video, and obviously, just talking with coaches, and I think that's what I've said about this community is it's been awesome and the interaction, and we're always striving to make our system the best that it can be. So, just from a basic conversation, it's really opened up something really big, I think, for us here in the next 30 to 45 days as we get into the summer with a lot of videos coming your way, and I know that the interaction I have really helps me, and because I'm nonstop trying to analyze. How can I be a better coach? How can I teach this just a little bit better? And then really one of our bigger challenges, obviously throwing the football. And I think everyone across the country, would say that, throwing the football is a very difficult task, and our offense, really, if you look at our identity, we want to run the football. We want to have RPOs with all of our run games. We want to have play action. We want to have screens. We want to have quick game. We want to have drop back pass, so, we're not a run and shoot or per se air raid. We use some air raid concepts, and I think the one I'm going to share today really stems from some air raid thoughts. But throwing the football is really a challenge, and obviously as a program, you've got to continue to work on ways to develop it and really have conviction with your philosophy. And really that's what I talk about in game planning, and I can't wait to put together more videos for you guys, just in terms of how we game plan, and then the interaction I know is going to help me look at the way other guys are doing it to help us. So, put a lot of time into this, but, just a basic, pure progression read. And if you've watched a lot of our videos, and there actually is a breakdown of West Virginia running this concept on our site, but we've installed this, and again, the reason I like this concept so much is that it is pure progression, and when it's third down and 7+, I think one of the bigger things, and we'll get into this more in the video, is you want that picture to be so clear for your quarterback in terms of this is what we game planned, this is what's going to get called in those situations, this is what we expect. So I want our quarterback to have such conviction and confidence with third down. But, just a basic, pure progression right here. I think it's really good. I think when you think about this concept, I think as you install it, you'll install it as a 2x2. Maybe you'll motion to it. But I think there's some considerations that you need to understand here. I think, number one, it's pure progression. So your quarterback's eyes are going to work the same way. It doesn't matter if it's one high, two high, man, or whatever it is, your quarterback's eyes are going to work. His eyes and feet are going to work the same way with this concept. So one decision I think you got to make is, where do I put our best player? So if I've got a certain player that's really good, and I think that's a whole nother conversation we'll get into, is the ability to move your best player around. So, I think with this concept right here, where we put our best players, we put them here in the 2 spot right here. I think this is another consideration right here in the 1 spot, and you'll see based on the route concept here. But I think as you build your formations and your plan, and whether it's third down or your base plan, but with this simple passing concept that's pure progression, let's make the decision, where do we want to put our best player? And I'll draw up the plays, and we'll talk about the percentages of maybe can we take the shot? Is that going to be the highest percentage pass? Where we're going to go with the football, which oftentimes it's not the highest percentage. So I think that's why you got to consider where you want to put your best player here. So just with this shallow hunt concept, I think it's an excellent concept. It's pure progression. It starts at the field, and really it starts right here at number 1. Can I throw the shot here? Do I have the matchup to throw the shot? So as you can see how this diagram is going to go, it's really, I'm going to draw the routes up for the progression for your quarterback. So number 1, can I throw the shot? Is it our best player? Do I like the matchup? Does their corner, stumble because my eyes are out there? Maybe is he playing too tight in cover 3? Or we just flat out can beat him? And obviously it's not a super high percentage throw, but you might have that guy that's special that can be a mismatch out there. So I think that's part of your consideration of where you're going to put guys. So now let's talk about this shallow hunt here. So really now we're going to bring number 2 from the boundary, and he's going to be really just on this shallow. right here. And right now, we're keeping this guy on the move. So this might be one of our better players because obviously, if he's going to get the football in this progression, he's going to get it with some space to go move with the football. So you want a playmaker that has ability with the ball, in this spot. And we've moved a bunch of guys around, and we'd like to think that all of our guys that we have on the field can make plays. Obviously, there's guys that can make more plays, but I think that's why we put our best player right there in that 2 spot. So if we've got a mismatch guy, yeah, we'll put him there, and we'll see if there's a shot there. But really, you'll see how this route builds, and then you'll understand it. But again, this is pure progression. I think it's easy for your quarterback. And again, talking specifically about third down, you want conviction and everybody in the meeting room, from your coaching staff to your quarterbacks to your wideouts. Hey, this is what we're going to get called on third down. But most importantly, your quarterback, because that's the guy that's going to make the plays happen. So right here, number 3 is going to run what we call the hunt route at 10 yards over the ball. So he's going to be in the 3 spot. Number 4 is going to run a little bit of a deeper hook route for us. He's going to push that thing all the way to 14 and run the hook route. Your tailback is going to come from the backfield, and he's going to run a wide route there into the boundary. A lot of times we set this to the field. So as you can see it right there, it is 1, am I taking the shot? 2, am I throwing to the under that's coming from the other side of the field? 3 is the OTB hunt route. 4 right here is the hook route at 14, and then 5 would be our last opportunity to get the ball out to the back. So I think it's pure progression read, shallow hunt right here. Do I take the shot? And then the biggest coaching point that I tell our quarterback in throwing the shallow route, obviously, is there green grass, but what's outside that can really hurt my guy that I'm going to get the ball to. So if they carry inside with this nickel Sam or whatever it is, inside with that OTB, and there's a lot of green grass in that area, we're going to give it to them. But if there's someone out here lingering and just sitting, obviously you're not giving it to them. And then your next spot is right here. And a lot of times, these backers, as they drop, this thing's wide open right over the football. So again, am I taking the shot? My eyes and feet are moving. Can I throw the ball to some green grass? Because this is our best player coming. If I get him the ball, he's going to turn up the field. And if it's 3rd and 7+, we're going to have a first down. And it might even turn into a big play for us. If that thing is not going to get thrown, then my eyes get right over the ball. And a lot of times that thing just spreads wide open, and I get the football. It's a stationary route, and I throw it to a soft shoulder away from where the closest linebacker would be. And then if this thing's covered and I don't take that, my eyes are moving over here to the hook route. And then typically, if I get back to 4 and 5, there's going to be one defender out here that we're going to end up reading. So if I didn't take that, someone was sitting in this area right here, they squeezed on here, it's going to be one defender that you're going to play a high-low game. So if he's got depth, you give it to the back. If he's got width, there's going to be a nice little throwing window right there. So I think it's an excellent concept. It's simple. It's pure progression. I think you guys should install it this summer. Maybe many of you guys are already running it. Please be sure to check out the site, because I think there's a breakdown on the site that West Virginia has run this, and we've run it. We've installed it, and it was good for us this past fall. So again, a lot of videos coming your way. I know that this is one of the longer videos that we've put together here for this simple passing concept, but really a really simple conversation turned into something I think that's going to be really good for all of us in this Exo Clinics community. So again, appreciate you guys, and be on the lookout for another video.